Hello guys, I am Witold and this is the time of truth for Triumph Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer, which in this video has more to do with the rally part than with the Explorer in fact. And I'll explain that in details, and right now I'll just tell you that the Explorer trim doesn't really influence the way that the bike rides, but the changes associated with the rally version do a lot. And I need you to know that this video here is focused only and only on what may not be that great about the Rally Explorer for some riders. And that's the key. All these points on my list do not necessarily have to be problems or obstacles for every single one of us. Or they may be present there but not bother you, or you may even like some of those things. Not very likely, but being realistic, we're all different with sometimes different preferences. Some of us like sweets, some of us don't. And it doesn't mean that sweets are good or bad, even though we know all that they're bad, right? To be fair, in all of this, there's already available a video that focuses entirely on what I think are the greatest selling points of this motorcycle in this particular version and the trim. So kind of reversing the point of view. So if you haven't watched that one, please definitely do, as then you will have a full perspective of what is awesome and some things truly are, and also what you should pay extra attention to from this video, hoping that this explains my informational intentions and purposes. I'm going forward to the first point on the list. And this first point is also the first thing that you may notice when starting the journey with the Triumph Tiger 1200 in the Rally variant. It's that now, in this taller version than the GT, with a larger front wheel, it actually can feel a bit more intimidating in terms of how heavy it feels. This is not present in the GT version, at least not so much. It wasn't for me. I haven't felt it there, but here I do. I had a full fuel tank carrying 30 liters in the Explorer version, and I personally felt not as confident as I would like to. So that took out some joy from dealing with the bike. The whole center of gravity, of course, is higher, it's lifted, and you feel it also when you're moving the bike around, when parking, moving around the garage and so on. That's not very important, but if you're looking for a bike that feels light to play with in all circumstances, it's not this one likely. And you'll be much better off with a GT Pro combination if that's your priority. That was the first thing that struck me. And for the record, the overall weight of the Rally Explorer with fluids already in it is 261 kilograms. GT Explorer, still with this larger fuel tank, is starting at 255 kilograms, while the GT Pro with a regular fuel tank is said to be 245 kilograms. So the largest difference between the three is just 6%. So my conclusion is that it's more about where that weight is located in the Rally, simply higher from the ground. And this leads to the second reason, which is that the seat of the Rally version is 2.5 centimeters higher in the lower position than in the GT models. In my case, this broke the barrier. This broke my waters. This broke the barrier of where it was still comfortable. I'm 183, 184 centimeters tall, or 6 feet tall, and the normally truly comfortable, very comfy and soft enough seat turned out to press with its sides, with its edges onto the sides of my legs, and it made me desperately look for more ground to support. If you are in motion and just sit on a bike, then the seat is absolutely fantastic. I think it might be the best and the most comfortable seat out there on all the bikes in this category. But once you stop, well, for me, in this taller version, still in the lower setting, it was also stopping to be as comfortable. And I would say that I felt I simply was too short, or with too short legs, maybe putting it this way. On the other hand, I've ridden bikes with seats at the same height, like BMW F850 GS, also with 87.5 centimeters of seat height, and it was all good there. So I would say check it out for yourselves, see if you can handle it. Maybe you'll have to modify it, replace it, or grow a bit more and get a lower seat. And now the third reason that actually was the real obstacle for me, and something that I was not expecting. I feel that the Rally variant, compared to a GT, loses a large amount of agility and precision of steering, I mean handling. But the bottom line is that this influenced all of that so much that in my case it made it not any more enjoyable to ride, at least in the city or at least in the slower areas, which is where I mostly ride myself. If you need to make any sort of tight maneuver at a very low speed, it's not anymore all that easy and fun as in the GT. So having that in mind, well, this at the same time can be a downside of a rally. And I believe that this has the most to do with different angles and so different geometry. And if my judgment is correct, you can even see it on Triumph's websites when you're switching between the tabs with a GT and a rally version. You can see that suddenly the 21-inch front rim and so a larger diameter of a whole wheel is raising the front of the bike visibly. And to me, that took away a large part of precision at low speeds. And while I enjoyed the GT, here I was not exactly happy and actually not excited in general, which was a big surprise. This rally is having 2 centimeters more of wheel travel in the front and in the rear, so the suspension is automatically also behaving differently, and that may influence the bike as well. Yet we know from KTM's example that more wheel travel and a taller bike doesn't have to take away any amount of control or be less precise at lower speeds. On the contrary, actually, in that case, in the case of both KTM's S and R, that's a whole video for that comparison. The taller R version with the 21-inch front rim does better at very low speeds. And of course, every case is different, every bike is different. Anyway, try the GT as well if you haven't considered it before, and chances are that you might like it. Now the fourth point, and something that has never happened to me before. It's kind of funny and not a real issue, but I would like you to be aware as I've had some problems there myself. It's about the center stand, which is super difficult to successfully put the bike on. It has to be longer to be able to support a taller bike. I really struggled to fully open it and lift the bike with my weight for it to engage and actually sit on that center stand. And please install crash bars before you try to use the center stand, and then prepare to face a lot of resistance. And I know that it sounds kind of funny to even say that, but damn it, it would be a pity to put such a bike on its side because of a silly thing like this, so I'm telling you up front. Heading straight to the fifth reason why you might have to avoid a Triumph Tiger 1200 in a Rally Pro or Rally Explorer version, I'm going to say that the way it intimidated me with the weight and difficulty in reaching the ground comfortably has seemed to influence my perception of its performance. This is, I think, a mostly psychological thing that followed also less precision and steering, and in the end made me feel that this version was not as punchy, not as fun to ride, not as willing to accelerate as it really should have been. The engine and the whole powertrain, it's all the same in all Tigers 1200 regardless of a version and a trim. The 6% weight difference with a tank full of fuel or even without the tank full of fuel, it changes, I think, nothing in the way most of us ride, yet combining all those factors can make the bike appear more lazy, not as wild or not as willing to be wild, so that you don't get it as a negative, as the GT. Likely a larger tank in the Explorer had some play in it, but I haven't really noticed in any very specific way that it would feel larger for me holding it with my legs when riding. It's sort of a thing like with a small and light car and a large and heavy car. With the same speed, it can feel very differently. If only I could say that it's the stability or composure of the rally version that makes you not feel the performance as much, that would be great, but somehow I didn't take it in a very positive or appreciative way. If any of you guys have tried both versions and felt the same, or you felt the opposite, please do let us know what you think might be causing that and why. If you have any idea, if you have a clue what specifically, or it's just a combination, or maybe it was what I think it was, please do speak up. In the sixth point, I'm going to again bring up the same topic that I've brought up when spending a few days with the Tiger 1200 GT Pro. So the design, and I think it's an okay looking model, but for a top of the line a motorcycle like this Tiger 1200 is, with the largest engine and the best performance, I wished that it looked a little bit more exciting perhaps. The green color that this bike was in is super cool, I think, and I like it, but other than that, and the pure size that makes a statement, not only may it look just a little bit too boring perhaps, but also resembles the smaller Tigers, like the 900 and 850. And in fact, I myself would have a hard time telling, at least from some distance, which one is which one when they just pass me like that on the street. So that's a word of critique from me here. Yes, it is, and it surely looks light and slim, even as a rally, and even Explorer is not looking like a cow on wheels, but there may be some strong presence missing here, I think. Take a look at other bikes and make sure that you'll be okay with this design anyway. And now a big bump that in this 7th point on my list is a combo of the same areas to take a look at in the GT Pro bike. The motorcycle seems to like to stall sometimes for no reason, and I don't really like that. The technology today is so advanced that it should not be happening, but it does. Yeah, I've heard that Triumph was attempting to fix it by a software update. Some of you guys tell me that it does work, so do reach out to your Triumph dealer if that happens to your bike, if it's not out of the newer line and one of the oldest that need to be flashed separately. Yeah, again, the display loads super slowly. You know, you start up the bike and there's nothing on the display. That's not what you would expecting. The animations are choppy. I could accept that 20 years ago, but not in 2023. Then there is the front brake that makes the bike nervous and causes it to dive a lot immediately. And it's violent if you're not used to it and if you're not super careful at the same time. Then the front suspension's behavior makes it even more dramatic because it's very soft and it dives a lot. The wind comes probably literally through the windshield into your helmet from underneath. It used to happen on a GT and is the same here in the Rally. It would make some crap get in my eyes every now and then from underneath here, make my eyes watery, make me cry, and of course this is not exactly what you want, especially on a motorcycle. Something just probably went wrong in an aerodynamic tunnel there when designing the airflow around the bike. Maybe an aftermarket windshield would help, but I don't know for sure if this is actually the part that's causing the problem here. And one more thing is that the stock exhaust is just way too quiet at idle. And the last one is that there is no normal flashing of the front light in certain circumstances. You've got to be in a specific mode, as we, together with you guys, have found out. You need to be in a specific mode to have the flash working like a flash instead of just switching a high beam on permanently. It's either in full beam or low beam in some situations, which didn't really suit me. To flash, you've got to switch it on and switch it off separately. That's not really working, and remembering all that, which mode you're in, whether it works or not, I don't think it should be like this. It's easier to make the switch an on-off and the permanent on in the other way. Now make sure that you've watched also what's so great about the Triumph Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer to not focus only on the one part of the story, and I hope that this will help you verify if any of those points even matter to you. Hopefully not, as the matte khaki color is really cool. Make sure to test the bike yourself and then make your choice based on your own personal feelings as well. Hope this helps you pay attention to some of those things, and see you in the next one.